All right, the late Antonin Scalia was seen as a champion of religious liberty during his years on the Supreme Court, and now some are saying his possible replacement, Judge Neil Gorsuch, might not only meet the standard, but could surpass it? Joining us right now is former Deputy Assistant General Tom Dupree. Tom, that's a pretty high bar for conservatives. He's the ultimate definition of the perfect Supreme Court justice. How could possibly Gorsuch surpass him?
Well, look, Brian, I agree with you. It is very difficult for me to envision anyone surpassing Justice Scalia, who is terrific and will always be legendary. That said, Judge Gorsuch is pretty terrific, too. One thing we've seen in his opinions as an appeals court judge is that he's not afraid to question settled law. He will faithfully apply it if it's something coming from the Supreme Court, but at the same time, he's shown a willingness to question, to go back to first principles, and to say, does this legal rule that we've been following for the last 30 years really make sense?
Right, and of course, the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, will have to say, well, you know, I see where you're coming from with this. Here's an example of what Gorsuch says on religious freedom. He says the act on the Religious Freedom Act, the act doesn't just apply to protect popular religious beliefs. It does perhaps its most important work in protecting unpopular religious beliefs, vindicating this nation's long-held aspiration to serve as a refuge for religious tolerance. What do you read into that?
Well, what I read to that is that Judge Gorsuch is faithful to what our founders meant and intended when they enacted the First Amendment and the Free Exercise Clause. What he's saying is that it's not for the courts to say, well, this is a major religion, this is a minor religion. Rather, what Judge Gorsuch is saying is that under the First Amendment, religion is religion. Right. It must be respected. Religious beliefs must be defended.
Senator Blumenthal says, hey, if it comes down to Roe v. Wade, I have a sense he wants to overturn it. If that happens, I'm going to go to the mat to stop this. Is anything that he said show that he wants to overturn it?
I don't think he said anything one way or the other about Roe v. Wade. I think that he has shown, number one, he is faithful to the original intent of our founders and the plain text of the Constitution. Number two, he's shown that he's not afraid to question what others might consider settled law. So we'll see. I don't think we're going to get straight questions, straight answers on that particular issue today in the confirmation hearing, but it's certainly something that's going to be on a lot of senators' minds.
All right, 4 days. At the end of these 4 days, what do you expect? The Republicans to need the nuclear option or not?
I don't think so, because here's what I think is going to happen, Brian. I think when people see Judge Gorsuch, even those who might be ideologically opposed to him, they're going to say, look, we may not agree with everything, but there's no question this is a smart, qualified judge. And I think they're going to vote to confirm.
Nancy Pelosi says, but if you like clean air, you won't vote for him, or if you breathe. So we'll see. Too bad she doesn't have a vote. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Tom Dupree, great to see you this morning.
Thank you, Brian.